Hey guys, it's Matt, H24-66. In today's video I have a review and running on this Lionel Legacy Wabash Trainmaster. Alright, so this engine's really cool. It was made in 2010 by Lionel, and I believe it was only made for 1 year. It's kind of one of those that kind of came and went. But it's a really nice engine, and in today's video we're going to take a look at some details and run it. So I'm going to go ahead and get right to the chase here, so let's get started. Alright, so let's start taking a look at some detail. Down here on the pilot, we have an operating coupler that can be thrown from the remote. We have a coupler cut bar right over here. Now, you gotta be careful with this thing because it, and I believe all the other handrails on this thing are brass, so you gotta be really careful with it because you don't want to damage it. And then down here, we have some steps. Down here on the truck side frames, these are really nicely done. We have the side of the frame, and then we also have these nice little chains right here, and these are really nice looking. And then you can see some springs. These are just really nicely done side frames. And then over here we have the fuel tank, tiny little thing, but it still is really good. And then over here we have another truck side frame. Now the chains, I believe, are on only the front ones. I don't think they're on the rear ones, but these are really nice. It's not on that rear one, so I think it's only on the front, but it looks really nice. Moving up some more on the model, we have these little drawbridges right here. These of course do come down. Sometimes you gotta help it a little bit, but there we go. We also have the handrail, and then we have the little safety chain right there. Really nice. Then up here we have some lighting. Now this is where it gets interesting, because we have a headlight right here. We have lighted number boards. Then we have marker lights. Now the marker lights are nice because they're bicolor. So when this is the front of the engine, so these ones when you power it up are going to be white, and then on the back it's red. And then when you change direction, these ones will be red, and then the back ones will be white. And then we also have the Mars light. Now the Mars light is only on the front of this engine, and the Mars light, it's off when the thing is sitting still, but then right when you move it, the Mars light turns on, which is pretty cool. So it's a really unique lighting package. Then right here we have the cab. Now there's not really much to see, but there is a cab light in there, and then there also is the engineer and conductor figure. Coming along the side of the engine, we have a horn. We have this section, which I'll get back to in a minute. We have the rad cab, which on these, the opposed piston motors on these things were a Royal Bear, and that's what eventually led to their scrappage, except for I believe one of them. Then we have the handrails, which again, very fragile pieces. Then we have the Wabash name, and then coming back here we have some grill work. Now these I don't believe open, no, but on the newer ones they do. They kind of fold out a little bit, but these, they're fixed in place, but they look really nice. And then down here we have some builder's plates. On the back of the engine we have some lighting features. Now again, a little different. We have just a reverse light, no Mars light. We have lighted number boards, and then we have the same bicolor marker lights, and again they're red when the thing's in reverse, white when the thing's in forward. Then same details as before, same drawbridge, safety chain, and same pilot detail with another operating coupler. Right now the top is where things get interesting. So right here we have some see-through vents, which are pretty cool. Then over here we have a panel which has a fan blade in it. The fan blade does not spin, at least not here anyway, but when you pull the panel off, you have your legacy controls in here, and also the battery compartment. So we got the volume control, then we have the rail signal sounds, the smoke unit, the run program, and the Odyssey switches. And then this thing just kind of goes back on. Sometimes it's a little bit of a bear to get back on. Let's see if I do it in one take here. Here we go. Perfect. Now back over here we have the exhaust ports. Now this model does contain an operating smoke unit, although I have removed mine, and I'll explain why in a minute. And then also back here, this is another really cool feature on this one, is these fans. Now these fans actually do spin. So if you pull the cover off, when you have the smoke unit on, the fans do spin. Now, I went ahead and removed my smoke unit for 2 reasons. The first of which was it never worked. The reg or something in it just wasn't working, so I went ahead and pulled it. And another reason is because when you have the smoke unit on, the fans spin, which that's an awesome feature, nothing wrong with that. But what I found out was that the fans will spin with the smoke unit disconnected. It just must be just the fans themselves with the motor. But the fans, when you have the smoke unit plugged in, are super loud. And they spin quicker than what you're going to see in a minute. But they're just so noisy to the point where it got so bad I just pulled the smoke unit, and usually I shut the fans off. But for this demo I will run the fans. So, but it's a cool feature, but I think in execution I don't think it was the greatest thing in the world. But it's still a really cool feature. I believe on the Centipedes when they did it, they changed it a little bit, so it's a little bit better. But anyway, let's go ahead and throw some track power on and get this thing fired up. Alright, so let's light up some track power. Alright, so here's our engine on. As you guys can see, we got some lights going. So I'm going to go and fire this up. Alright, so I'm going to turn this thing down here so you can hear me talk over this thing. Okay. Alright, so as I said, the Mars light is off. Now when I move the thing, cap light goes out, Mars light comes on. As you guys can see, it flashes. And that's a really neat feature. So, but again, that's not really the start of the show. The start of the show is back here. So, I'm going to fire up the smoke unit, AUX19. And there you go. Pretty cool, huh? And like I said, even with the cover off, you can see them spin. But when you pull this cover off, there you go. Now, they do kind of vary in speed, so it's not always the same speed. They do kind of change in speed. But when you have the smoke unit on, again, and when it's plugged in, they will spin a little bit faster, but the noise is just too much for me to bear. So that's, again, part of the reason why I went ahead and pulled the smoke unit. But it's a really, really cool feature. So let me go ahead and put the sound back on, and then I'll be right back. Alright, so now I'm going to listen to some sounds. Here's the horn. Really cool horn. Now, if you have the Legacy controller, you could go ahead and quill the horn. I do own Legacy, but as I've said before, it's in the shop, so I have to use Trainmaster TMCC. So, here's the bell. Then here's the prime mover. This really sounds good. And that's as good as it'll get, so let's go back down. Pretty cool, and then I'll give a listen to some crew talk.
Wabash 550 here. My handbrakes are knocked off. Can I get to the main line? Over. No 550. Hold for my clearance. Over. Okay. Waiting on a clear track. 550 out. Wabash 550. Hold for my clearance. Over. Understood. 550 out. Wabash 550. My handbrakes are knocked off. Can I get to the main line? Over. Yes, 550. You are cleared onto the main. Over. Roger that. Clear signal. 550 out.
And here's one more.
Wabash 550. You are cleared onto the main. Over. Copy that. Clear signal. 550 out.
And lastly, I'll go and throw the couplers. Alright, so I got some cars hooked up behind the engine. Now it's the same cut of cars I ran in the last video. So, if you like the concept, you get to see it again. So here we go.
Wabash 550 here. My handbrakes are knocked off. Can I get to the main line? Over. Yes, 550. You are cleared onto the main. Over. Very good. Clear signal. 550 out.
550. The lead is clear for your move. Over.
Thank you, sir. Green signals. 550 out. Wabash 550 here. Stopped. Ready to cut off. Over.
Acknowledge 550. Stand by and set your brakes. Out.
Going off duty. 550 out.
Alright guys, that's going to about do it for this review. This engine's really nice. If you can find one, definitely get one. They retailed for $495, which I don't think is bad for a model like this. It's really got some really cool features on it. So it's overall a real winner. So this is going to do it for this one. So I'll go ahead and catch you guys later. Take care.